Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I now have the honor of giving the floor to the President of the General Assembly, His Excellency Mr. Philemon Yang. You have the floor, sir.
Good morning. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. Seeking peace for everyone in the Middle East is why we are here today. For peace has long eluded the people of this region, who continue to be burdened by conflict and violence. Nowhere is this clearer than in Palestine, where people desperately yearn for peace as they endure prolonged suffering. Let me be clear. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict can neither be resolved through force from either side, nor through endless occupation or annexation. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict will only end when both Israelis and Palestinians are able to live side by side in their own sovereign independent states in peace, security, and dignity. This is why we are here today, to reiterate the importance of realizing the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people, in particular the right to self-determination, and to express our collective solidarity with this cause. Today we also recall the General Assembly's historic adoption of Resolution 181-2 on 29 November 1947. This so-called partition resolution called for the establishment of two states, a Jewish state called Israel, which exists, and an Arab state called Palestine, which still has not been admitted to the United Nations as a full member 77 years later. It is unjust. Moreover, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains unresolved despite numerous resolutions and international conferences aimed at achieving a just, comprehensive, and lasting peace. The conflict has once again only escalated in front of our eyes, becoming one of the worst humanitarian crises in recent memory. In Gaza, more than 43,000 people have been killed since October 2023, most of them civilians, women, and children. More than 100,000 people have been injured. 1.9 million people, nearly the entire population of Gaza, have been displaced. Civilian infrastructure lies in ruins. Meanwhile, the situation in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, remains deeply concerning. Israel's large-scale military operations, violence against civilians, settler-related violence, settlement expansion, demolitions, and displacement continue to undermine the prospects for an urgently needed political process. Excellencies, over 7 decades ago, this Assembly called for a two-state solution. Today we gather to stress again that the aspiration of the Palestinian people for their own state is a just aspiration, one that will help realize their hopes for peace, security, and dignity, and one that must finally be met. When generations of young Palestinians are being deprived of their fundamental rights and are left without hope for a better future, it only fuels desperation, trauma, and extremism. We must restore hope and trust among Palestinians. Hope that a better future is possible, and trust in the United Nations and its commitments. we can start building that future here today by demanding a ceasefire, an immediate return of the hostages, and the commencement of negotiations towards a long-lasting peace. The future requires that the international community finally takes concrete and meaningful action towards a just, comprehensive, and lasting resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a solution that is anchored in international law, the Charter of the United Nations, and relevant United Nations resolutions. I am not saying anything new by affirming that only dialogue and negotiations towards a two-state solution will bring about an end to the vicious cycle of violence and instability. And today I would like to reiterate that only the establishment of a Palestinian state alongside the State of Israel can guarantee lasting peace, security, and prosperity for the peoples of Palestine and Israel. Let us act now. I call on all the parties concerned and states that have influence in the region to work towards this end without further delay. Let us translate our solidarity with the Palestinian people into action that transforms their lives today. Let us do so for the sake of Palestinian children and for a peaceful, prosperous, and equitable future for everyone. I thank you.
I thank His Excellency Mr. Philemon Yang for his statement. Our committee is thankful for your stewardship of the Assembly in addressing the situation in the occupied Palestinian territory.